Greetings everyone, this is P and welcome to another Call of Duty 4 Noclip videos. Today we're gonna see the level AC130, Death from Above, as it's the official name. And I have disabled a lot of filters that go into the screen and blur, have some sort of motion blur. Of course it's on the non-colored version because the map is actually designed. I have just started no-clipping. You can see there is no AC130 airplane, and the map is actually designed in a grayscale manner. Like all of these textures, the terrain, if we go close to it, the buildings, most of the props are in a grayscale texture to simulate that thermal filter that the AC130 is supposed to be using. Let me increase the FOV as well so we can see stuff. And if we go close to the NPCs, they are also in a grayscale manner. You can see that their weapons are normal. That's because not everything could be done in grayscale due to the overload of the assets that they would have to convert for that. But we can see that all the enemies and all the allies have only a very limited number of various weapons. For example, this one has the LMG, these guys have the M4, and I guess the enemies have... okay, they have G3, they probably have AKs as well, there we go. I don't know if they have other stuff. You can see that this couch and this bicycle and this texture here, those are normal. And yeah, you can see that everything else is has this filter thing going on. The cars are also on the grayscale filter thing. The church itself seems like a retextured church from the Blackout. Is it Blackout? Yeah, from the Blackout and the heat level. The bell itself is a rust texture mesh thing. If we go inside the church, we can see that it's actually... I mean, the inside walls are not textured, but it's actually walkable, I assume. I cannot walk on it right now. Of course, the NPCs, the enemy NPCs, ignore us because we're supposed to be up there. And yeah, this is the starting area. As you can see, everything is textured normally, like everything is designed, I want to say, like the geometry is there. It's not some sort of trick. These things are actually here, the enemies are actually here, you can see the terrain. But it's just on a grayscale, monochromatic, gray, black and white thing. We can actually see that the terrain is actually having bumps and edits around it. It's a huge texture of itself. If you use the map editor, you will be able to see those textures in the map editor available. Of course, redesigning this map yourself is quite a challenge, and I wouldn't dream of trying it myself, but yeah, it's a huge texture. Like there's chunks of this map that are huge texture of the thing, the whole terrain, and it's a pretty cool thing that we can now see them on this perspective. It's actually a pretty interesting map. It was a pretty innovating thing back then in 2007 when this came out. Like people were blown away, especially people who actually have seen actual real life AC130 footage, which must be quite thrilling and impressive in terms of technical perspective. Now, in this day and age, we have the Modern Warfare 2022 version of the AC130 level, which is a whole other level of map design and technical innovations in terms of graphics and digital simulations. But yeah, that's another story. We're here to see the original Call of Duty 4 version of it, you know, the classic one, the one we all grew up with. And let's see what else we can find besides the obvious things we can see in the map. Actually, let's go to this area. Let's go to the normal view. Now I no-clipped, I disabled no-clip, and I have of course disabled the fog, I disabled the effects, the clouds, the blurs and everything. And you can see that without the fog, we can see that the map ends and stuff like that. But we can see this house over here. That's what I wanted to go to, which is supposedly where this truck, where's the truck? This truck starts from. Of course, we can see them colored now, but there's a black and white filter, like a desaturation filter on our screen, which I now have disabled, so we can see those few props that are left in the map that actually have color. which is cool. But yeah, besides that, this is where the truck is supposed to come from, where the enemies we shoot. Of course, the game, thankfully, doesn't require me to actually engage with the enemies. I don't have a mission fail thing, so we have all the time in the world to explore the map without worrying for the map to actually require us to move on. So let's go here at the edge of the map. We can see that things get rough when it comes to map design. We see these 2D tree-like props that are supposed to be covering the edge of the map. We cannot actually see them clearly from the normal game perspective. This is actually a very nice technique, by the way they did the trees. So there's supposed to be fog, I guess, on these, and you can see the tip of the trees being darker and the lower parts being more washed out, faded. That gives the like there are 2D patches. You can see there are 2D patches, one on top of the other, with different washed out values, gradually going from top to bottom. And this basically gives the illusion that this is a foggy forest, and it's a pretty successful and very nice strategy they went with it. It's really impressive. Like, digital illusions and innovations like that are something I really admire as a aspiring to creative myself. So yeah, if I disable the full bright, we can see that this is actually the real water tower model, the real one that they actually use in the rest of the game in other maps. And since this map doesn't require high texture, high quality actually lighting, they didn't have the actual lighting settings compiled for this map. This is actually it seems to be like this map hasn't been compiled fully with the lighting settings to maximum, because there's no sunlight. It's just everything is done with vision files, which are filters you put on the screen, blur, you can have various tricks you can put on the screen to give the illusion of the TV camera view that they went with this map. So if you create a Call of Duty 4 map and you have no lighting on low lighting settings in it, you will see that most of the props will look like that, which is the default lighting settings that the game has, so it won't like look entirely flat like that. And if you compile, if you compile them up normally, you will see the high definition lighting of the model and everything else and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just a bit of a technical thing. Let's see the rest of the map. So I think I will proceed the map to the part where our friends capture the truck and cut to that right here. So I cut to the part where the vehicles come, and let's take a closer look on what happens here. You can see that the truck drivers are actually enemy AI, and our friends, which are basically like black and white black kit SAS thing. This guy runs away. How about this guy? So yeah, if you remember my COD4 Noclip video, we have the exact same animation on the shoreline. Which is pretty cool actually, how they go inside and everything. I hope I didn't miss... Yeah, you see the glitchy... I hope I didn't lose any important details here. So yeah, that's an interesting fact here with the tracks. Let's resume the screen here. Okay, I'll move on to the later parts when we are in the containers and cut to that. Okay, so we're at the container area. We will see our ally NPCs going outside of the vehicles. See how that works. Also, this is glitched. For some reason, this seat is glitched, and the animations do not match the car. That's odd. Okay, they just go out. That's not a big deal. So yeah, here's the junkyard, or whatever it is with the cars. We see enemies spawn outside these buildings, the classic U-shaped building we keep hearing of. Enemies flooding this area. Let me... Oh, okay, it's fine. This is like a shipment area. All of those buses and cars are on their grayscale thermal version. The crane is not, though. You see the normal version of the crane. Here you can see even the rainbow version of it, because it's you know, the non-light compile version of it. We see this is the area where the helicopters land, so where our allies actually are gonna exit. We have this building back here, which I don't know what they are. They're probably background stuff. It's pretty cool. and now let's do a large overview on top of the map and see how everything looks from a much larger perspective. Yeah, it's a pretty massive map when you see it like that. It's not that big compared to other larger maps, but it's pretty big when it comes to the terrain. And we can see the deformed terrain over here, which is like the very edge of the map, which we are not supposed to see. I think we're not supposed to see back beyond these trees, probably. That would be my guess. You see, this part is like terrain texture part that it's probably supposed to be somewhere where buildings are. It's probably reused elsewhere. So yeah, these are reused terrain patches. That's my assumption. Yeah, this is quite an odd terrain area. I guess we can barely see this area, that's why it's like that, and if you see it from a top-down view, it looks like a repetitive texture. And you see those like white areas, white blocks on the texture, which is supposed where the buildings are supposed to be in this area, I guess. So yeah, if you see it like that, you barely see the blocky part of it, I guess. I'm not sure what they were planning with this. This looks fine, because it's probably closer to the map. So yeah, this is basically the whole map. We basically explore the whole map. I'll show you how the helicopters land and how the helicopters take off, how our friendlies go inside and all that. Alright, so we are in the ending part. Let me go out of the AC130 view. Again, there's no AC130. We can see the helicopters, the Ally helicopters. Let me do the rainbow view so we can see where they are exactly, because the grayscale thing is not helping. So yeah, these are the helicopters. They are about to land and pick up our allies. Let me decrease the speed. I was quite fast there. Are there other... Yeah, there are allies inside actually. There's even a team spawning. I did not know that. Just 2 of them, of course. And let's see, they probably go inside and delete. Yep, that's my guess. Just go inside and delete. There's no reason for them to be there. Same happens here. Just go inside and delete. They're all the same black kit SAS thing. And then these guys would go inside. Oh, they don't! Oh, the ramp closes even before they get on inside. Wow. And the ramp doesn't fully close. And they're actually in their exit pose. That's pretty interesting. Pretty cool. Very cool. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next time. Bye bye.